Okay, I'd like to call the June 4th, 2019 bid board meeting to order. We have a quorum. First item is the approval of the minutes from April 2nd meeting.
So second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
So before we get into item one, I'd like to just introduce and welcome, as he's walking away from, oh no, that was Adam. Introduce our newest member, which is Justice. He's the alderman from District 7, I believe it is, in Barton. Welcome,
Thank you.
and looking forward to working with you for the year,
Likewise.
maybe more.
Great.
So, item number one, financial report.
Morning. All right, so look at your financial report. You have in your revised budget $107,259. Actual as of May 22nd, 2019 is $10,582.15. Total encumbrances right now equal $26,051.63, and total available is at $70,625.22.
Any questions? We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item two, the Bloomin' Holiday update. Good morning.
Patrick said I needed to use the microphone for TV purposes, but it's really just for looks, I think. So, good morning. I probably haven't met everyone yet. My name is Jessica Wilds. I'm with the Museum of Wisconsin Art. I came to the meeting in April and talked to you a little bit about some plans that we have for Bloomin' Holidays, our annual event in November, and we're looking to expand it. And so I brought a handout today for you to take a look at. At the end of that last meeting, you had asked me to come back and present you with a proposal, so I'll give you that in a moment. But I thought maybe I'll just quickly run through the event again, refresh your minds, and answer any questions you might have. So Bloomin' Holidays takes place in November, the second weekend in November, or well, I guess it's the first, the 5th through the 10th this year. This will be our 7th year of the event. And last year we felt we really hit our stride. We incorporated a Thursday night sort of preview event that was so well received and just so much fun. And people came and they get to vote for their favorite floral designs that are on display in the galleries throughout the whole weekend. So we invite floral designers from throughout Wisconsin to come and show off their talents. Some of them get really creative and design based on the artwork. It's just a really amazing, visual and aromatic event, really. We also bring speakers and lectors to come and talk about, planting in your home or something floral related. This year we have some amazing speakers coming even from Chicago, Botanic Gardens. And then we have inside the museum a small artist marketplace going on. And we think this is the kickoff to the holiday season. We're ready to kick it off when November starts, and this event is showing that we can do so. But with last year's momentum, we thought we need to really kick this up even more. November's a great time of year to get something going in West Bend. I'm actively, I go to the meetings, not on or anything with the Tourism Commission, but I do attend, and it sounds like November's a great time for us to book more hotels, bring people to the city, bring people to shop and dine. And so we think that if we expand the event to be multiple days and to include an evening lights in the gardens, that it will attract a wider range of people. It will be free in the evenings to explore the gardens, where we'll put these large LED globe lights, and we're also planning to do museum itself, because it's a lovely white canvas. So we're looking to hire a Wisconsin artist to do maybe a time lapse of seasons changing or flowers or something like that, just to really make something beautiful that people want to come and see, and then encourage them to go out into West Bend, into the bid, and enjoy what West Bend has to offer. And then by adding more days to this event, we really hope that it encourages people to stay in West Bend and just enjoy. I'm pleased to share that the Tourism Commission is supporting the event through marketing dollars. So we applied for the grant, and they will help us get the word out. So you can see on the back of this little sheet some of the placements that we will have. We're already planned to be on the cover of Key Milwaukee magazine, which is a tourist-focused magazine in Milwaukee, and that will be in November. So it'll come out right at the end of October, which is great timing. We're also going to focus on Fox Cities and bringing in people from Appleton and even Oshkosh, Fond du Lac, down a little bit farther, to bring in overnighters and day trippers. But what we discussed last time is that this event, by adding to it, there's a pretty substantial cost involved to make it possible. So we're working with Magic Productions. They do the lights and the audio, and they'll help us with the projection. And the cost of that alone for the 5 days is $14,000. And so it's our hope that you may be willing to help us with some of that cost. So we did put a letter together in a request for $7,500. And that's a starting place, so we hope that you may consider that as a feasible amount. Given the entire cost of the event, we anticipate to be about $32,000. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Our goal is to bring 4,000 visitors, but as we've seen with other lights type of events, they can be even more popular, so we're just really excited about this opportunity.
Jess.
Yeah. Yes.
You probably said this already and I missed it. How many visitors did you get last year?
Sure, we had 1,700 visitors.
Okay.
That was just for the 3 days of Bloom and Holidays that's inside. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And did you do this kind of marketing last year?
We did not do that much.
Okay.
But we did similar, yes. We also have our membership that we reach out to, and it spans across the state and 36 other states. So we reach them through email, and we do a special holiday mailer. So in early October, they'll get a piece that outlines everything going on, and then we take a pretty serious approach to social media as well.
Awesome.
And Midwest Living has actually reached out. We've been in connection on this event already, so I'm hopeful that we'll have an editorial in Midwest Living as well.
Great.
So is there some kind of plan to tie the downtown businesses into this and get them involved?
We'd love to. I attended the Diva Group meeting a couple weeks ago to talk about, just to give them a heads up, this is happening, but also to see how we can incorporate the Diva Group and the shops. There are so many opportunities, and I'm welcome to talk to anybody about how they want to be involved, how we can drive business downtown. Maybe we have something we're handing out outside, or we have, there are many opportunities to do that, and we're happy to do what's needed. But we want to make sure we're able to do the event first, I guess. That's all. Which we are.
So, just Adam, if you can refresh my memory and everybody else's, how much money did we commit to this marketing fund already, the downtown?
So you have, right now you've spent approximately 14,000 of the 17,000, and then the 11,000 exists in the funds for future projects.
And we also have a contingency account.
Yes, correct, of 10,000.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, the 11.
I like the idea of the downtown participating in it in conjunction with your program or your event. And maybe I would like to see some of the funds spent illuminate the bridges, maybe more decorations downtown. And I know we have a conversation about our Christmas decorations, but it would certainly be a nice time to kick off the holiday for the entire downtown.
Yeah, I agree.
I certainly love everything that MOA does for the downtown, and you guys do a great job of bringing people down. And looking at your sort of estimate for 4,000 visitors this year, I can certainly see how you could easily have that growth just through organic growth and increased marketing exposure and the natural progression. $7,500 is a big number from a marketing standpoint for one event. And when you look at sort of funneling that into 3 or 4 days, rather than trying to use that to spread out over the course of a year.
And mainly asking not necessarily for marketing funding. That's we're working with the Tourism Commission specifically on marketing. This would be more for cost of the actual production.
The operational
outdoor
stuff.
event, right.
Yeah.
So more of the operational cost of actually doing the free event. Yeah.
Right.
Just want to clarify.
Well, I kind of echo what you're saying. I guess my thing is, I think it's a great idea. I'm not quite sure of the 7,500, but my bigger concern is how we ensure somehow if the other businesses are tied in, because it's really their money that we're spending and promoting. And when we look at like the Diva Group and the downtown, when we asked them for money, or they asked us for money, we made sure that there was a definitive connection to the restaurants, the retailers. So that's my only concern with it is I think we could potentially be heavily scrutinized for putting that kind of money into one event for MOA. Not that MOA is not a great organization. I think we need to get creative somehow to figure out how we can tie the.
Our holiday lights, what is the holiday lights called?
They typically go up the week before Thanksgiving, which is right before the Christmas parade, but not saying that you couldn't, and that's where that's a conversation that, I put that on the agenda because I wanted to have a conversation about the lights. So what I'm wondering is if maybe we table this for like 20 minutes, go into the holiday lights, and then come back and see if we can tie some of this all together.
So one of the things too that the City of West Bend and other organizations have been talking about is a wine walk. So the possibility of tying that and getting, because there's outdoor activity and walkability with MOA, tying in a wine walk to the downtown possibly with this event could get the businesses involved in something that you're talking about. And recently meeting with a different community found out that has huge returns in cash for this.
So the only question I'd have with the wine walk is it can only be done in the restaurants.
Not necessarily. You can do it inside of the stores. It works out. You just got to get the proper paperwork in place, and we'll work that out on our end.
Okay, because I know there's a couple businesses last year that got visited by the state during their event when they were doing alcohol.
Sure. You can apply for a temporary beer and wine licensing. Is much more liberal than when it comes to liquor.
So I don't know if you guys if we want to talk about the holiday lights and then come back to this, or we want to talk about this all at once. Okay, so then we need a motion to just temporary table this, and then we'll come back.
So moved.
Thank you, Jessica.
We have a Motion and a second to table. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, so now let's jump into item 3, which is the decorations. I was kind of surprised because it's still pretty early, but I received a couple phone calls from people saying, and I got to keep it anonymous at this point, but they were like, we need to do something with decorations downtown, and I'm to the point where I'm going to write a check. And I'm like, great, I want your check.
Yeah.
But I think that, you know, with what Justice presented, and I didn't know about that until just now, but also with the enchantment and everything that's going on in the city and the amount of people that are coming into the community for enchantment alone, and the age of our decorations, I think we should look at maybe stepping it up a little bit. And we talked about the bowls need to be replaced, so do we do something different and start doing it? One of my thoughts was, I know there's communities, and I have no idea what this costs, but there's communities that pay a service to come and they put everything up, take everything down. They own all of the lights, they own everything, they maintain it, they do the whole thing. And I'm wondering if it makes sense to potentially, if nothing else, just look at that and see what the cost would be.
Makes sense to look at it for sure.
You know, we're spending all the money at owning all of this stuff, and we're paying to have it put up, and we're using volunteers, and we're using the city, and city storing it, and all of that. Is it really cost effective? Or if we get somebody, we do a deal with them. Like I know in my store, I pay a company and I do a 3-year contract, and they come in, they maintain, they do absolutely everything with it. They put them up when I tell them to, they take them down when I tell them to, and it's done. But I have no idea what kind of costs we're looking at. I know the only company I know of that does it, but I'm sure there's more, is David J. Frank Landscaping. They do the Fiserv. They've done a bunch of, they did whatever the skating rink is in downtown Milwaukee. They do that.
Sounds really expensive.
No, actually, I thought so too. But the initial talk I had with them a year ago, it wasn't as bad as I thought. Really, to do it.
Would they take possession of what we have, or what do we do with that?
They would do that too, I think. I don't know. I'm wondering if it makes sense to explore it.
I think it certainly makes sense to look at. Might be a little surprised, but we will be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's kind of the way I'm looking at it, and then we get, you know, the complaint that I got from the people who called me, and it was actually just 2 people in 2 different phone calls, but they were collective together, is they felt, you know, they said there was a bunch of lights that were out, and then we had, and Larry's been talking about this for years, we got different colored lights on the building, we got different colored lights going across, we got different colored lights on the poles, you know, is there some way, we got different colored lights on the reindeer now, so there's this whole mishmash of stuff, and does it make sense to bring that all together in one unified look? And then somehow, I think if we tie it to and promote it with MOA's event, promote it with Enchantment, and now people are coming to West Bend to see decorations. They're not just coming for Enchantment or coming for the one event, but we become the candy cane lane of the North, you know, where it's all over the news, it's everywhere.
Did those callers suggest or check that are really right?
No, we didn't get to that point, but I think it could be significant.
What about the people who run the Christmas parade? Wouldn't they have, maybe they also have some connection with it? I mean, they've got like a whole fund just for the parade every year. Why wouldn't we address them as well?
So the Christmas parade, yes, there's money there, but the way their foundation is set up, because I'm on the board, is the money is being put aside specifically for when that group decides they no longer want to run the golf outing to raise the $15,000 a year to run the Christmas parade, and have that invested to be able to keep the Christmas parade going into the future. And the monies are also, they have to specifically, which you could maybe tie into decorations, have to specifically go to, if it's ever disbanded, it has to go to a children's charity in the community. So I don't see, because we're still trying to raise money to get to the final end goal. And every year we're adding maybe $2,000-3,000 to the fund after we pay for the parade, which ends up costing pretty close to $12,000 or $13,000 to do the parade, because we pay every single band in it. All the high schools, they won't play unless they're paid. So I don't see money coming from that. I can ask, but I don't know that would necessarily work.
Sort of off on a tangent, I guess I just want to acknowledge that I think we've done a good job as a board over the last 5 years sort of investing in the Christmas decorations, and I've certainly seen they've grown every year just about, and I think two things. I'm definitely interested in investigating, contracting the decorations out. It's streamlined, it'd be big, but I also like the decorations that we have and would love to continue to add a couple should we keep it in-house. And so a couple ideas that we've talked about over the years were like big LED Christmas trees in various locations, or even trying to warm lights, okay, or even that a huge natural Christmas tree which we've thrown around a little bit. But yeah, let's look into it. Would be my recommendation.
Like, I would love to see a 40-foot
40-foot tree, absolutely.
in the triangle, and then
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think we've done a good job with the decorations. But I think we need to try to amp it up. And we've always waited too long to get there, so that's why I put it on this agenda early.
Yeah, I think that's great.
So Adam, you and I can talk, I can give you the contact that I have, and then there's gotta be other companies that we could talk to just to get ideas.
Okay.
And then I think the question comes down to going back to the MOA presentation. If we can do something like this and tie them into all of this, or can we put our decorations up early so that we're up earlier? And I guess that's a city question, because the problem we've run into in the past and why it ends up so late is the leaf cleanup and all of that if you get staff to make it happen.
Yeah. We'll check the timing on Doug and all of that stuff and let everybody know at the next meeting.
So I'm not opposed to getting them up early. When is this? The second weekend?
First weekend.
So will people get a little crazy if we put stuff up that early? I don't know.
Beginning of November, like 1st of November kind of thing. Yeah.
They've already been playing Christmas carols.
Oh, I know they have.
Halloween's over.
We've got the decorations, let's put them on.
Just a question about, I think the engineering department was looking into the reinforcement of some of those retainers for the wires across the streets. Has that ever been?
I think that's all done, isn't it? Yeah.
Everything was good. Yeah.
Would you look into expanding the decorations?
Yeah, they should have done that a long time ago.
They would just put it on the main drag.
Personally, I think it needs to expand if we can figure out how to expand it, because I think, that's been my goal all along, is to make sure that the whole bid is really, part of it and we showcase it.
Sure would be nice to see those beautiful white new bridges illuminated somehow. They're so pretty with Christmas lights, the bridges across the river.
That would fall.
Yeah.
And kind of tie in MOA to the downtown too, and carry that traffic to the downtown.
The bridges.
Yeah, like the bridges.
Well, I'd be happy to. Larry, would you be interested in researching lighting up the bridges at all with me?
With you?
Yeah. All right, super. And how about maybe researching a big Christmas tree potentially too?
I'll help you with that because I think I've got that done.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
So,
So whoever you talk to would look at our existing decorations and take that into consideration, because we just bought all.
yeah, actually, I mean, one of them, which would be David Frank, and I've been talking to them about my store, and they said they would take everything we had and build on it and refurb it, whatever they needed to do with it. So they'll take existing, and then they'll even take your existing going forward and store it and do everything. What it would cost to do the downtown, I have no idea, but they take everything that you have and then expand it from that point.
Is that what Adam's going to research?
Yeah, that's what we'll talk about.
Perfect.
So
All that sounds great. That aside,
now we got to figure out
Yep.
how we can. So the question is, if we can put everything up in the beginning of November, we can tie. Then there's a tie-in to MOA, and I guess that's where I was kind of going with this. Then it comes down to how much of their $7,500 request you want to give. Is $1 too much? Just kidding.
It's hard to hear you guys.
Oh, yeah, it is hard to hear here.
I love what I have heard though about bringing lights in earlier, making it totally light. We're investing in marketing, to bring people here. So you necessarily don't have to do that part because we're investing in bringing thousands of people during that time. You know, so whatever else we can do to get people across the water is great. Yes.
Maybe I'm misunderstanding what this. I'm sorry, I didn't go to the event last year. But is there any way of pulling the event into downtown at all?
Yeah.
I mean, can there be arrangements in the downtown area so that people kind of have to go through downtown to see everything?
Yes. We could do a lot. I mean, we could do the little wine event. I mean, Jamie and I were just talking about what if there were florals in some of the shops and maybe they were designed by kids or other nonprofit groups or something. Like, any collaboration like that is welcome, and we'd love to do something like that to connect it all and to just make it bigger than MOA. This is not just about MOA, and feel that way. So maybe there's a one night is shop night or one night is dine night or the whole thing. There's so many opportunities to collaborate on that. Or just go see the lights. I mean, really, people are like flies to lights. It's dying. So I think that would help tie it together.
Yeah.
So motion to vote.
Do we want to do a motion though for them for money because that's what they're looking for to see if they can even afford to do it at this point. So we have this $7,500 request on the table that we have to make a decision one way or the other what we want to do.
I'm going to stick to my guns and say I think that's a big chunk of our budget. I guess, without making a motion, I mean, is 3,500 reasonable?
Which is right out of my head, so that's the same number I had in my head.
Yeah.
Somebody make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve $3,500 to contribute to the Lumen.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that?
Yeah, I guess I'd like to see, more maybe come into the downtown association. Sure. And try to actually turn this into an event. You know what I mean? So it's all of them, like we talked about getting stores involved and getting some of the downtown businesses, maybe the restaurants can come up with a special for that weekend, a special drink special or, food special for that weekend and actually turning it into an event. Then that would entail getting some sponsorships and
I guess where I was coming from, I think I know that event drives a ton of traffic, and I don't disagree with the idea of trying to turn it into, downtown specific event activities. But I do, no, you make some good points, Peggy.
If you guys want to go ahead and do it, that's fine. I just wanted to just throw that out there for a little bit more discussion.
I think it's a logical place for them to go, and I think they will. I don't know that it needs to be attached to Oak.
I would agree with that. I'm comfortable.
Jane, I discussed,
Use your microphone for Patrick.
oh, sorry. We could put in some of the globe lights, maybe in Old Silver's Park, maybe even right off the bridges, just drive visually people across, along with, partnering and working with Downtown Association and the Diva Group. We just haven't yet, but we do plan to connect. Anna was in the meeting that I went to for the Diva Group to connect on what we can do and just get on everyone's radar to be open and all those things. So,
Does this need to happen today? I mean, can we table this till next meeting, or is that a potential?
it doesn't have to happen today. I mean, it can happen in July.
I guess the question I have is if we table it for July, what more are we going to know than we know now?
Well, they would have an opportunity to talk to Downtown Association.
It's up to this whole group.
Formulate a more specific plan, I guess, as it relates to downtown.
We're doing this event. Yes, we are definitely doing the event. And we'll continue to also look for additional sponsorships, which we've done in the past for our indoor portion. But we're hoping just to expand it so much further. So either way, it's happening. At the very least, what it's been in the past, the 3 indoor days. I'm sure we'll do the globe lights, just like how many. It's very expensive. The projection and the globe lights alone are the $14,000. That's the part that we're adding, and that's the part that that we just have to figure out. But it will happen, and it's June, and we'll find a way. Marketing dollars are set. Yep, we have a lot of wonderful support from the Tourism Commission to market the event. That is all set. So we'll be hitting the ground running on marketing. You're always welcome. In any way, yes. But this would help us make it so much better. That's what I'm saying.
All right, I'd like to amend my motion to table it until next meeting. And Jessica, if I could just ask that you meet with the Downtown Association and possibly brainstorm some ideas on how to directly tie in to the downtown businesses. I thought the idea of floral things in businesses or just little things like that sort of can tie it all together would be a great idea. And then table it till next meeting, and we'll discuss and make a decision next meeting, if that's all right.
You okay with that?
Amended second.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you have to approve that as a second, so you okay with that? Okay, so we have a motion and a second to table this until July. Any further discussion on that?
Are we going to the lights like a deer? Don't forget the deer. We've got a lot of deer.
Well, we better have a better handle on our decorating for Christmas
Right.
too, so, and what that will entail for costs as well.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank
Okay,
you.
motion carries.
Thanks.
We'll see you in July or before. All right, so we already talked about the decorations for downtown, so we can move on to item 4 unless anybody wants to bring more up about decorations. So the Mini Golf Masters Big Brothers Big Sisters presentation. Good morning.
I was going to make this a little. Let's move the
You
table.
can if you can grab his nice microphone there, please.
I think I have a newer.
What's that?
While she's handing these out, Kathy, can you grab your computer?
Just move your computer that way or this way. We're gonna angle the table a little bit. There we go. That's
Oh, now I can see you.
yeah.
Another one?
Did I have it?
You're looking at it over here.
Another one.
And then another one.
Another one?
And another one.
Same thing?
I don't think so.
Options or what are you getting?
So there should be a sponsor registration,
Oh, I
a
see.
sand trap registration, and a flyer for the event. You have one of each for a couple of reasons, and I'll explain. Oh, you don't have it? All right, so my name is Jamie Harvey Wells. I'm the executive director of Big Brothers Big Sisters, if we haven't met yet. So Big Brothers Big Sisters is located downtown, right between Sagers and Mountain Bike. And we had a small fundraising gap this year with an event that got canceled that somebody else ran for us. Additionally, one of the things that we're really focusing on as an agency is looking at what we can do for our companies in Washington County to kind of thank them, but also invite them into our community. So with Big Brothers Big Sisters investing that way into these companies, we're hoping that ultimately in the long run, we connect some of our littles to these companies and ask them, and get them to stay here. Is kind of our long-term investment. We have some programming called I Succeed that has to do with investment and career readiness. We went to Subway and we made sandwiches. The littles got to put on the visors and make their sandwiches for their bigs, and then sit down with owners and talk to them about how do you get your first job? What are you wearing to your first interview? So as we invest in them and ask them to kind of stick around, one of the things we're doing is investing back into some of the businesses that we work with and that support us. So that's when Adam approached me about this idea called Mini Golf Masters. So those two things, that desire to keep our littles in the county and get them employed, and then also build our relationship with local businesses, and then this fundraising gap, all is accumulated into this plan. So our goal is on August 3rd to have, after the farmers market, invite all of the families and local businesses to participate in an 18-hole mini golf course that is hosted, the individual holes are hosted by downtown businesses or businesses that do not operate out of the downtown and step into empty storefront spaces. So that's kind of the investment into the businesses that we work with and talk to every day. So the first sheet is just the flyer. This is something we worked up with Big Brothers Big Sisters, inviting people to participate. It has a link to contact Big Brothers Big Sisters as the coordinator of the event, as well as an online, if you were to follow that link, that give.classy.org, that has a registration page for businesses. And then what we do is included, if you look at the first sheet that has the little golfer on it, not the grass, that's the sponsor registration. We, this event isn't written into my annual budget by any means. However, we do have that fundraising gap. So we're looking to ask for a small donation to Big Brothers Big Sisters, and then we would market in turn for those businesses and handle all of the registrations so that the community that's participating is recognizing these businesses both in that cause-based marketing and as a business that's viable and important to our community. So So if you look at that, they sponsor the entire event. With that event sponsor, if they come in at the $1,000 level, we've worked out that the 18th hole would be at Old Settlers Park. Register my storefront, sponsor an empty storefront, and then one of the things that we talked a lot about was engaging some of these larger corporations who have high turnover rates to sponsor a team of their employees to come out and do kind of a community event on a Saturday. So talking to Manitou Group, Epic Creative, those are two of the biggest ones that I've spoken to thus far. Epic is very interested and has worked a little bit with us on planning this event. So looking at that investment back into these companies. So then the registration would happen that way. And then for restaurants, having been a waitress once upon a time, it is very difficult for a restaurant to do anything with servers during the course of a workday, right? You can't do anything but serve food and drink. So asking them to not sponsor a hole, but to be our sand trap or our fescue. I had to Google a lot of golf terms for this because I don't know anything about it. But to be a sand trap and make like a custom drink for that day and invite people to come into their restaurant and try out a couple things. We would also have one of them function as the 19th hole and another one function as the clubhouse. That's why it's a little bit of a higher dollar amount. The clubhouse would handle all registrations, and the 19th hole would be the place where we would hand out awards or something kind of silly to engage the family. So we're looking at this being something that's for everyone. Capitalizing on the farmers market that already has this community that'll be there at 11 a.m. on Saturday. And then also, building up Big Brothers Big Sisters recognition in the community, and some of these businesses that maybe don't have a ton of foot traffic. So then finally, my request to the bid would be, and I apologize for not having a letter. This is something that this is my first time here. So seeing how you're so ready to kind of build and work together and workshop something, my request would be to have the bid come in at $1,000 request. As a sponsor, we would hopefully take that money and turn it into T-shirts and swag. Our T-shirts are made by B&G, and Gina does a lot of work for us, and so our goal would be to kind of use that funds to make sure that we get all those businesses' logos on the back of that T-shirt, as well as maybe create something annual and collectible that people want to participate in. Yes. 18 holes, yep. Yeah, so it would be on the business to set that up. I put a call into Cost Manufacturing in Jackson to see if we could get some green donated, but I think the parade template is a good way to think of it, that each of these businesses would be creating their whole. So maybe at B&G you have to go around a screen printer to put this. Yes, inside the businesses to create that foot traffic.
Sounds like a super fun event.
The city of West Bend has also made available a couple of spots on the Riverwalk should the storefronts not be available. If they're all used up.
Yeah, we've been talking with Adam Willicat to open up some of those empty storefront spaces that he's representing. So the hope would be that businesses that aren't necessarily downtown but are looking for that recognition would be able to participate, and then also get some foot traffic through some of those empty spaces that we don't want to be empty anymore.
I noticed on the agenda it only says presentation. Are we looking to make a decision today on this?
We can't.
You'll be legal if you still make a decision. Just because it says presentation, you're
Gotcha.
fine. It's still the agenda item.
Gotcha.
But I don't know that without a decision, because we didn't know, I didn't know we were looking for a donation. I don't think we can do a,
Other store owners wouldn't know that either.
yeah.
Ultimately, it's your meeting, you can do. We can come back.
Well, I guess, yeah. Technically, we can't.
This looks like a great idea. I'm the vice president of the HPBA up in Barton, and there's stuff that's great on paper, but then you go around and you start talking to the actual business owners, and they're like, I don't want to do that. Here's a couple $100, but I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? That's a lot of times what we get. So I guess if we tabled it, that would be the reason. It would be to check with other businesses to see if you're going to get that kind of participation. Do you think so? Or I don't know how downtown folks are. So
As a business owner, definitely count me in for, something. I'd love to play. I'd love to build a putt-putt hole in my restaurant. There's no doubt about it.
You're gonna be a sand trap. Well, yeah, and I'm not saying I wouldn't either. I got to go back to the front and see what people think, But I don't know what you guys where you want to go with this.
I think if we get the opportunity to think about it, I had no idea what this thing was until about 10 minutes ago. And maybe bring it up, put it on the agenda, and put it on the next meeting.
Yeah. So one of the things that these registration pages are, in my eyes, finished. So one of the things that is on here is the Downtown Business Improvement District's name is on here, right? So because that's who I'm speaking to, and that's in the conversations Adam and I have had, looking at really investing into the community that I'm surrounded with at Big Brothers Big Sisters. So I guess one of the things that I would maybe foresee as a complication as we move forward with marketing, and it doesn't have to do with dollars, but maybe approval of that you're willing to support this event or invest in it by becoming somebody who builds a putt-putt in your restaurant, because in order for me to approach those business owners, I do need a little bit of leverage behind me to say, hey, this is something that our community is invested in order to kind of make it better. So I think that would maybe be the more significant ask at this moment in time, because we should start marketing this in July. And we need to let people know that this is happening. So maybe that would be a more appropriate request for you at this time, is looking for approval that this is something you could support as the Downtown Business Improvement District.
Well, I think from an endorsement standpoint, I think we can do that, but we can't vote on dollars.
I make a motion we endorse this idea and table it till next meeting. A final decision on money.
So she can go out and say, hey, the bid endorse it. Let's get a second first. Okay. So I think what she's looking for is, at least the very least, there's an endorsement from the bid, so she can go out to the businesses and say, I talked to the bid's in favor of it, and then come back and see if there's any money that is available.
What's the geographical area that you're looking to try and confine this to?
Specifically South Main Street, really from probably about the Riverside Brewery to Old Settlers Park, looking at that full length. I don't know if everybody...
Guess you're out.
I guess so.
Sorry, I was thinking location. We can go a little farther, north or south.
Okay, all right. It's only another block.
Sponsor it all.
You're off the hook?
To be the actual hosts of the event, however, looking at the entire city of West Bend, to come in and invite it into those empty storefronts is probably, I don't know, hopefully that answers your question.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to endorse. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, you can,
Awesome. Thank
Go-
you so
go do
much. I
that.
will go forth.
Adam, facade loan.
Okay, so we're on the facade loan. I'll go quick with these next two items. We're on the facade loan pool program, and it's officially complete. So in your package, you'll find the overview of everything of the program. Real quick to recap, it is you can request up to between $10,000 and $25,000 for your facade. Whether you're a business owner or the owner of the building, you just have to have the owner of the building sign off on it. And at a 1% interest rate to be paid back over the course of up to 10 years. This is through First Bank Financial Center. We've been working on this for quite some time now, so it's kind of nice to see it all go through. The council has accepted a resolution accepting the program or the dollar amount. And then you'll also find in there the application materials and a quick snapshot of the required materials to apply for those funds. So this is just letting you know this is ready. And you can let everybody know that wants to take advantage of this program that we have this. We have the, it's the Business Development Loan Pool Program. Applying for one does not exclude you from the other. So piece them together. This is just one piece of the pie to keep building owners and business owners investing in their space.
And looking at this, it also goes to Barton.
Yes, we included the historic Barton Commercial District, which is also included in the Business Development Loan Pool Program.
So I know there was a ton of work put into this, and thank you very much for working on it. I think one of the downfalls of all these programs is we don't get the information out to the building owners well enough. That I think we need to somehow figure out a way, and maybe it's a quarterly newsletter that the bid puts together or something, because there's so much of this stuff now available that we need to somehow make sure we get this information out to building owners, especially with everything that's going on downtown right now with the Riverwalk and other things that are happening. So that I feel so the building owners have the information and the knowledge that they know that some of this is available. Because it's just, I think it's great that we have it. We just need to encourage the use.
Correct.
A great packet was done for the spring cleanup. Like we can say.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And maybe we should start looking at like some kind of quarterly newsletter. I would love if we could get an entire email list of every business, and I'm not quite sure how we do that, and every building owner. That would be an ideal situation where we could do email blasts of what's going on. I know that downtown has some of them, but I don't know that they have all of them. So if there was some way we could do that, or we just do a direct mail piece, I'm not sure.
I think we can get a list and get that email thing going. We'll get that going, and a newsletter seems like a great idea. I can get a template together for where we piece together information.
Yeah, HPBA's got a pretty complete email list of all of its members, and we do email blasts all the time. And it is a great. I mean, I like the idea of doing a specific quarterly thing, so people can see in a snapshot what's been going on for the last couple months. You know?
Exactly. Anybody have any other questions on this? Great. Thank you, and let's just get the word out so people can use it. The Entrepreneur Opportunity Presentation.
Okay, so everybody will be receiving an email today, and in there will be the updated next to final version of the opportunity. I think I've said, I'm going to put that here. So I've said it about 100 times that this is almost final, and then I go and talk to somebody new, right? One of the big updates here is that the Commons Group, I met with them and talked to them about marketing this, and at the same time they came back and said they wanted to add to the package. So they want to offer whoever comes in a half day or full day of, it's like a consulting some sort of service. I'll get the language. And also possibly brand identity materials and whatever that looks like. So I'll be highlighting the portions on there where we don't have someone sponsoring the service, and then if everyone can use their networks to see who will be able to provide that, that's what we need now. And then everybody else just to respond directly back to me, not to all chat as one, with some of their updates or what they think.
Okay. Any other questions on that?
I don't think I had anything else.
All right, so next agenda item is agenda items for the next meeting, which would be holidays. I'm going to just say Christmas decorations because I'm not politically correct. Blooming holidays. If we want to do more on the mini golf masters, those are the three things that I know for sure that we need to discuss. If there's anything else, get it to Adam or myself, and we'll get it on the agenda. So I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.